Welcome to myvelocitybanking.com channel where we teach you how to implement the velocity banking strategy using the website myvelocitybanking.com. If you haven't already done so, head over to the site, sign up for a free membership, and start entering your information, your expenses, your income, determine your cash flow. And once that's all in there, you can actually get a report as to how to start doing velocity banking. It will break down what tool to use, how much chunk payments to make, when to make the chunk payments, and everything else you need to actually implement the velocity banking strategy and start paying off those debts in record time. So today we're going to look at an issue that one of our users ran into about she had a high cash flow but a low credit limit, and she was having an issue actually getting a report on how to do velocity banking. So we're going to take you through that right now because that may apply to some of our other users. So let's hop over to her dashboard. So if we look over to, the name is Joan. So Joan went in, entered all her information, and then income, expenses. This is her cash flow, which is really good. She got a really good high cash flow. And this is the debt that she's trying to pay off. But you'll see right here that she's not getting any charts that she would ordinarily. So if you look at the report, the same thing here, her cash flow, her income, her expenses, her cash flow, her debt, and she gets this message. She was getting this message when she went in. So it was saying that her credit limit on the card that she wanted to use wasn't high enough to actually maximize the chunk payments that she can use. So here's the thing. She needed $25,000 at least in the credit card limit to maximize the chunk payments. So if we look at her expenses, we'll look and we'll see that she's got this Capital One credit card, no balance on it, and the credit limit of $20,000. This is the Bank of America mortgage that she's trying to pay off. So here's the thing. So there's two ways to actually tackle this issue if you run into the same thing as Joan did. One, the best way is to call up the bank and see if they can increase your credit limit to the amount that it was showing on the report. So Joan had to get at least $25,000 to maximize her chunk payments and to minimize the amount of time it will take her to pay off her debt. So Joan got on the phone, got her credit limit increased to $25,000. And so then if you run a report again, we see that she can actually get the report that breaks down the chunks, and she can start doing velocity banking. So we see that next month when she starts, she can make the big chunk of $24,000. And because of her cash flow is so high, every 6 months she could probably do a $24,000 chunk. And she just rinses, repeats, and keeps doing the exact same thing. And in about 7 years, which is really good, she would pay off about $500,000 in debt, just making these chunk payments and doing the velocity banking method. Now, that's option one. Option two, if she's not able to, or if you're not able to get the bank to increase your credit limit, let's go back again. Let's just reset everything for Joan. She's back at $20,000. And if you do a get report, you'll get the same message again. So option two is to play around with your income and your expense. If you want to start velocity banking, you don't want to wait to get your credit limit increased. Option two is to play around with your income and expenses. So if we drop Joan's income by about $800, we'll see if she has enough room. Yes, she does. So now, because we dropped her income, we just played around with her income. You can also play around with your expenses as well. So if Joan said, "Oh, I only have $6,000 a month," then she'll just keep that extra $800 in her bank account, and then she can start doing velocity banking, doing $19,000 chunk. So that's just right under the $20,000 limit of her card. So she'll take the whole chunk of payment, the $19,000 from her Capital One card, make a chunk payment towards her mortgage. And every 6 months, she'll pay it off. She'll pay off that card, and she'll start over again every 6 months with her cash flow. In Joan's case, because she has an extra $800, she'll probably pay this off faster. But in this scenario, this is very conservative. She'll make this chunk payments every 6 months. She'll pay it off. And we'll see that because she's making smaller chunk payments, now it will take 8 years, and 8 years, an extra year more than she would have used if she maximized the chunk payments that she would be able to do by getting an increase in her credit limit. So those are the two ways to actually tackle this. One is to try and talk to the bank, see if they can increase your credit limit so you can maximize your chunk payments. Or if you're not able to do that and you want to start velocity banking right away, play with your income, and then you'll get the report as to the chunk payments you can make and when you can make it. All right, we'll talk to you guys next time. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like us, and if you have any comments, put it below.